talking about history here at Bahoukas Antique Mall and Beer Museum and History Museum. Whose history do we really want to preserve? Well, today we're going to talk about this building in particular. Everybody knows it as the Pickox. Actually, right now, Bahoukas Antique Mall and Beer Museum. But back in the day, we had the Sanborn maps. And it shows in 1894 that this building was a music store, a single-story building that was built by the Asherfields. Mr. Seneca, S.A. Seneca, who has Seneca Cannery, he sold this property to the Asherfield, L.H. Asherfield, back in 1894. So we know that that is because of the deeds that we have. We've got copies of the deeds. And the front portion of this building is the size of this, and it ended right here where it comes down. And then there's been several different additions added onto the building. So, like I said, in 1894, Mr. Seneca sold the property, 2 lots, to the Asherfield family. The front port, where the greenhouse is next door that Lou Ward owns, that was sold sometime in the early 1900s to Mr. and Mrs. Healy. This building was actually, in 1900, the first Citizens National Bank. Until they built the Citizens National Bank up on Washington and Green, the corner of Washington and Green. But they had their own currency. And in a book that we found on currency, it states that it was in the Asherfield building on Union Avenue. Well, we know that by a few articles that we have that stated that the Asherfield building, they were moving the vaults and bringing in the benches and all the accoutrements and everything for a bank. And then you go a little further, the bank opened up on 2 July 1900. It was here less than a year before it moved up to Washington Street. And then in the Sanborn maps that I got scanned off of the Smithsonian website, Paula Casagrande over at Big House Signs, she scanned every one of them in for me, did a beautiful job, and I have them all on display here in the store. So it shows the different chronological order at different times. There's many different Sanborn maps. We've done one on the Sanborn maps and talked about them. But this is what helped me. And Marita's O'Connell site at Historic Havre de Grace gave me a bunch of information. And then some newspapers that I've got access to that Jack Shenang and Henry Payton allowed me to have. I've gone through all kinds of them. It's a lot of reading, but I have found a whole lot of history on this building. And another time from in between 1903 and 1906 on the 1904 Sanborn map, it shows that this building was a Photoshop at one time. And I found, going through the newspapers, that it was Rex's Photo Art Company. And we'll put better pictures of these on our blog and on our website. But the address, the only thing it has on here is opposite the post office. Well, we know the post office was the other building that I own across the street. So that one. And then it goes the Asherfields. When Asherfields first started here in Havre de Grace, they were up on the Hopkins block. Where was the Hopkins block? That will be another item that we talk about later on. But L.H. Asherfield started up on Washington Street. And then we've got several different ads. I've got lots of different ads in my little binder here of the Asherfields. And this one says up at the top, building, building, building. For when they're having a big sale. So when they move their business to Union Avenue. And this ad I thought was kind of cool because it says, moving into our new store, Union Avenue. Too busy to write an ad. And then they've moved up here. They have their bikes. They had hardware. They had stationery. They had lots of different things on Union Avenue in the brightest store in Havre de Grace. And I think it's still the brightest store in Havre de Grace.